Victorian. What were your guys' initial reactions when you found out about the plot for the public sport?
I was so curious how it was going to play out because CL has never had to deal with his peers before. Um, so uh, I was really excited to see him be so out of his comfort zone. And it definitely does not disappoint. Like the level of frustration he has and how flustered he gets is just so delightful to watch and especially to get to voice.
Yeah, yeah. It's I for years, fans have been telling us like that the public school arc was one of their favorite arcs from the manga, like for so long. And they're like, "Do you think they'll ever?" And of course, we're actors, we're the last to know.
Yeah.
But like for well over a decade, they've been telling us it seems that like they can't wait for to see that come to life on the screen. And so I was like, when the announcement was made, I was like, oh, okay, they listened. The fans have spoken.
So what do you guys think makes this arc so unique compared to previous arcs?
Do you want to
Yeah, I mean, definitely the fact that he has to deal with school, and I think it's kind of his opportunity to come up with all of his plans and tactics without as much help from Sebastian. Like, and I feel like it's so funny how much he underestimates how terrible school is and how impossible it is to navigate cliques and navigate school politics and all of those kinds of things. Because I'm so used to him being overly prepared, just knows everything inside and out. And in this arc, he's like, yeah, I mean, I didn't read the rule book. What? Why are we doing this? Like, he's just so thrown because he vastly underestimated the horrifying nature of high school and middle school.
Just the potential for comedy there is so great.
Yeah.
I love that Sebastian going deep cover as a teacher allows him to lord over CL when they're kind of on the job, and there's so many opportunities for sarcasm and little ribbings and eyebrow raising asides. I love it, and I also adore the implication that Sebastian is perfectly at home in the atmosphere of a school because he's from hell.
Yeah.
So there's nothing he hasn't dealt with all the time, which is I think is just a hysterical social commentary.
Can you tell we did not have an easy school life?
So what aspects of CL and Sebastian's personalities did you guys most enjoy exploring during this arc? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but
Yeah. Do you have one?
I can start.
You
Yeah.
start, you start.
Sebastian's very easy for me to slip into because he's kind of at least as I see him, he's kind of passive. He's very reactive. You know, he kind of waits to see what unfolds and responds to it. And as an actor, that's kind of how I work anyway. So it makes Sebastian something of a dream role. And it's really fun to see him in this context because normally, as you were observing, CL is so capable and such a strategist, so proactive that Sebastian just has to kind of come in after and sort of clean up, as it were. But in this one, he has to be a little more... it's fun to watch him delight in seeing CL struggle. Just the kind of like, so it really brings out that side of his personality that's always been here. The kind of like, oh, well, that's a choice. Good for you. Which is super, super fun to play. And getting to explore that in this arc is just delightful.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I can't reiterate enough just how delightful it is to see him deal with other kids. It really humanizes him in a way that I don't think he's ever been humanized in the show before.
True.
And I think he's a little taken aback by how kind some of the kids are, particularly Macmillan. Like he just doesn't understand that, like, oh, you want to be my friend and you're actually helping me. Weird. Anyway, like, I think it makes him uncomfortable
Yeah.
because he's never been able to trust anyone other than Sebastian. So for him to find somebody that is actually kind and seems to care about him and is willing to, put himself on the line a little bit for him is kind of like, oh, you could have a friend if you wanted it.
What do I do with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what is this? What is this? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
no, I love seeing that. I think I do agree with you. It's dehumanizing and it's a fun arc to explore. Do you guys have any favorite characters or moments or lines from this arc that you guys thought were just particularly amazing or you just thoroughly enjoyed it compared to previous ones?
I have a couple. I love One of my favorite moments has to be the first time Sebastian says the iconic "Yes, my lord" line.
So epic.
It's so epic. Just the multiple angles, the time it takes for the bow, the eyelashes. I'm obsessed with his eyelashes
Yeah.
in in this iteration. Um, but my favorite character, I'm going to be so predictable. I love Bluer because he's played by my
so do I,
husband,
yeah.
Brandon McInnes, who's really great in the role, and he's a glasses character, which I'm partial to. So yeah, and I would also I would totally be in Sapphire Isle House if I were in that school. That would be my house. So
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
What about you?
I mean, I love all of the P4. I think they're each one of them is so different from each other, and I think everyone does such a great job acting in those parts. But again, McMillan just warms my heart every time I see him. He's so cute and sweet, and yeah. And I will say though, Violet definitely personality wise is someone that would probably be my friend in real life.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I was Violet when I was in school. That was kind of
Yeah.
my vibe.
Yeah, that was your
Yeah,
aesthetic.
that was
From
very
what,
much
from what
my,
you told me,
yes,
yeah.
very much my
Yeah.
aesthetic. I don't think I could get away with that now at my age, but I could then.
So, if you guys could be in charge of what school subjects or clubs CL and Sebastian could join based off of your guys' character, what would you guys pick for them and why?
Ooh, literature and music are my first two because those are just loves of mine, and I would love to have to play that as them. But yeah, definitely that. Yeah.
Well, I would love, I would love to see CL in a drama class
Oh my God,
because he already
yes.
performed Hamlet.
That's
you
true.
know?
And he wasn't half bad, I have to say.
Yeah. Well, his whole life is, and this whole arc is him acting.
It's
So
true.
I think
It's
he
true.
would benefit from the
Do
teaching.
you think he could put on yet another layer and be an actor who's acting as an actor?
Acting, I feel like acting could maybe heal him a little bit, like
Like he
he
would-
could dive into all those scary parts, all those scary emotions
Maybe.
that he's afraid of,
Maybe.
and then kind of see like, oh, I can face it
Now
and get through it.
now I'm just picturing Sebastian and CL doing Meisner exercise. Yes,
Oh
my
my
lord. Yes,
God,
my
that
lord.
needs
Yes,
to
my
be-
lord. Yes, my lord.
Yeah.
Yes, my lord.
That needs to be an OVA for sure.
Do you guys have any favorite aspects from the Victorian era that you guys get to play on?
Honestly, the tea and everything about the tea, I can't get over it. The way that they animate it is so beautiful. The tea sets are gorgeous. Just the care with which they pour the tea. I mean, it's stunning.
That's true. The reality of living in the Victorian era was probably a nightmare, especially
Probably very
especially by
smelly.
our modern standards.
Very smelly.
But from the safe remove of fiction, I love the aesthetic. I've always loved a nice foggy cobblestone street traversed by people in immaculate clothes.
Yeah.
And the tea as well.
The clothes are pretty
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. Could do without lead paint and arsenic and makeup
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But if we
Yeah.
could just keep the look
Yeah.
and the tea.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just last two questions. If you guys could voice any other character in the series, who would you guys want to voice?
That's such a tough question because we're all colleagues and friends, and I know I can't speak for you, but I know once someone I know is playing a role, I can only think of them in that role.
I'm the same.
And I
yeah.
just can't I would never I couldn't do that job. I couldn't. They're too perfect. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I don't think I could choose another character to play. I'm so happy with the cast as it is that
I
I'm
am too.
they're all just absolutely nailing it.
Well, and also there aren't any other characters that a female could play.
That's true.
in
And
this
and let's be
folklore.
honest, Sebastian's the most amazing character ever. Why would I give him up?
Right. I feel the same about y'all.
True.
Simple. Just last question. So you guys are both very amazing actors. And you guys are. You are. Just wait, you have people. Come on. So
You are nailing this interview. I just want you to know.
very amazing actors. What advice would you guys have for anybody who's hoping to enter the acting industry or who wants to pursue voice acting and acting in general, because voice acting is acting?
It's a weird time. I'd have to be a little cynical about it because things are
Yeah.
changing so much, so rapidly that, it could be that the very industry itself, what we do as voice actors, is under threat. You don't really know. Things are always changing. I say now more than ever, it's more important as an actor to be a creator of some kind because I think actors are, as artists, we're kind of at the mercy of other creators and other creators' ability to get stuff out there, right? So I think it's a good time to not specialize and to instead cast your net as widely as possible. So if you want to get into acting, voice acting, cultivate relationships with all aspects of the art. Look into, writing, look into all of it, just because you frequently have to wear a lot of hats to make ends meet in this business. Most of us do all sorts of things. Brina's been a music director, as an ADR director. I've done writing and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard to make a living doing just one thing. That's just kind of the nature of creative jobs. So look at all of it. Look at all the creative things and try to be able to do all of it, because the more you can do, the more you get to do.
And even if you don't necessarily end up becoming good enough to do like animation or something, as far as like learning how to do it, taking the steps to figure out how it's done is going to make you a better actor. Like if you understand how all of the cogs turn and like how everything works together, you're a more well-informed, well-educated actor, and you'll bring things to the table that other actors may not be bringing. But yeah, in general, even before all of, the uncertainty of our industry now, I've always thought diversifying is the most important, because you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into one thing, because there's no one thing that's going to constantly get you work. So you want to make sure, even if all you want to do is voice acting, don't just do anime, don't just do video games, don't just do commercials, do all of it.
Yeah. So diversify, cast your net wide.
Mm-hmm.